The Galactic Academy's armory hall stretched for miles, filled with weapons from 1,000 worlds. Plasma rifles from Zenith Prime, gravity hammers from the Kron homeworld, neural disruptors from the Telepathic Consortium. And there, in Marcus Webb's trembling hands, was a chunk of oxidized metal that looked like it had been dredged from Earth's ocean floor. "Consider it a welcoming gift," Silara had said. Her crystalline features arranged in what Marcus had learned was the Vethian equivalent of a smirk. The sword, if one could even call it that, was so corroded that flakes of rust drifted to the floor with every movement. The other cadets had erupted in laughter. Even Instructor Krethnon, a battle-scarred Drakthar warrior, had difficulty hiding his amusement. Marcus was the first human accepted into the Galactic Academy in 3 generations. Earth was still considered a backwater planet, barely worthy of a seat at the galactic table. His acceptance had been controversial. Many species viewed humans as primitive, their technology laughably outdated, their lifespans insignificantly short. But Marcus had scored impossibly high on the Academy's aptitude tests. High enough that they couldn't ignore him. High enough that some whispered it must have been a mistake. The sword had become a running joke. For weeks, Marcus carried it to combat training, enduring the snickers and pointed comments. Silara, a princess from one of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, seemed particularly amused by his stubborn refusal to discard it. "Still clinging to your precious rust, human?" she would ask, her voice like wind chimes. Marcus never responded. Something about the sword felt right. Despite its appearance, despite the humiliation, he couldn't bring himself to abandon it. Late at night in his quarters, he would clean it obsessively, removing layers of corrosion with tools from the engineering lab. Beneath the rust, he occasionally glimpsed patterns, symbols that predated any language he knew. The night everything changed started ordinarily enough. Marcus was alone in Training Hall 7, practicing basic combat forms. He had fallen behind in class. Most species at the Academy possessed natural advantages. The Kron had 4 arms. The Vethians could manipulate gravity. The Slitharn could phase through solid matter. Humans had persistence, and apparently a gift for attracting mockery. Marcus swung the rusty blade through another sequence, his muscles burning. The sword felt heavier than it should, as if resisting his movements. Sweat dripped down his face as frustration mounted. "Why?" he whispered to the empty hall. "Why do I feel like you're important?" The sword didn't answer. Rust never did. Then the alarm shrieked. Red emergency lights bathed the Academy in crimson as Marcus sprinted toward the main corridor. Other cadets emerged from their quarters, confused and frightened. Through the massive viewport, Marcus saw them, Void Reapers, ship-sized parasitic entities that fed on sentient life force. They were swarming the Academy's shields like locusts. "All cadets to defensive positions," Instructor Krethnon's voice boomed through the comm system. "This is not a drill." The shields failed with a sound like reality tearing. Void Reapers poured through breaches, their forms constantly shifting between solid and ethereal. Screams echoed through corridors as cadets scrambled to arm themselves. Marcus ran toward the armory, but a Reaper materialized before him, its presence sucking warmth from the air. He raised the rusty sword instinctively, a pathetic gesture against a creature that had destroyed civilizations. The Reaper lunged, and Marcus felt something awaken. The sword grew warm in his hands, then hot. The rust didn't flake away, it transformed. Orange corrosion blazed into brilliant gold light, patterns hidden for millennia suddenly visible. The blade sang, a harmonic frequency that made Marcus's bones resonate. The Void Reaper recoiled, shrieking. Marcus swung. The blade cut through the creature like it was made of paper. The Reaper dissolved into particles of light, its death cry echoing impossibly. More Reapers converged on his position, drawn by the sword's light. Marcus moved without thinking, his body flowing through combat forms he'd never learned but somehow knew. The sword guided him, each strike precise and devastating. Reapers fell like wheat before a scythe. Silara found him standing in a corridor filled with dissolving Reaper corpses, the sword blazing in his hands like a star. "Impossible," she breathed. "That sword, it's the Stellar Blade. The weapon that was lost when the precursor civilization fell 20,000 years ago. No one has been able to activate it in recorded history." Marcus looked at the glowing weapon, then at her. You knew what this was?" "We suspected. My family has searched for it for generations. We found it on a dead world 50 cycles ago, but none of us could make it respond. I gave it to you as a joke, human. Your kind are known for treasuring broken things, for finding value in refuse. I thought... She trailed off, her crystalline features reflecting the sword's golden light. I never imagined it would choose you. Instructor Krethnon approached, his expression unreadable. The precursors were humanity's ancestors, Cadet Webb. Most species evolved naturally, but humans were designed, created as warriors to fight threats like the Reapers. When the precursors fell, humanity regressed, forgot its purpose, but the genetic legacy remained. Dormant, waiting. The sword pulsed in Marcus's grip, warm and alive. Around him, cadets from a dozen species stared with new expressions. Not mockery, not amusement, fear, respect, recognition. Marcus Webb, the human who had been accepted to the Galactic Academy as an oddity, a token representative of a backwater world, now held a weapon that legends were built upon, a weapon that responded only to human genetic markers, a weapon designed to kill gods. Gorzlara stepped closer, her earlier arrogance replaced by something else. I gave you a joke, she said quietly. You turned it into a legacy. Marcus looked at the sword, then at the stars visible through the damaged viewport. Somewhere out there, more threats waited, more challenges for humanity to face. The rust had been a test. The mockery had been a crucible. And now, standing in the ruins of what was supposed to be his humiliation, Marcus understood. Humans didn't need forearms or gravity manipulation. They had something better. They had the patience to see value in rust, the stubborn refusal to abandon broken things, the gift of recognizing potential where others saw only garbage. The stellar blade glowed brighter, responding to his resolve. Marcus smiled. Let's show them what humans can do. The galaxy, he decided, was about to remember why the precursors had created humanity, and it would be one hell of a lesson.